tell you what else can be interesting and useful for you. And Sofia Mastrococo from My Artist Greece also will present you the speaker today. Sofia.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much, Olena, for the great presentation of the network. So, who is Athanasia Kanellou? Is a good question for me. Athanasia holds a bachelor degree in psychology and a Master of Science in organizational psychology. She began her career in aviation, but has since gained vast experience in human resources as an HR Generalist, business partner, and talent acquisition analyst. Today, she works as a recruiter at the ECB, at the European Central Bank, and as a career counselor too. So in this capacity, today, she's gonna lead us through inclusive labor market policies and share with us her vast knowledge about job opportunities at the ECB. That's all for me. The floor is yours, Athanasia.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you very much. I think I will need a minute just to share my screen because I know that now I can do it. Okay. Thank you, Julia.
I think that you are going to be impressed by her speech, by her motivational live doc.
Can you now see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that is perfect. Okay, so thanks a lot for hosting me. It's a great pleasure and an honor. Let me also see if I can move. Okay, perfect. So today, as you just mentioned, I would like to talk to you a little bit about diversity and inclusion. And of course, I will also present the European Central Bank as an institution and also as an employer for any potentially interested people that might be joining us today. So what I would like to start with today is the definition of diversity and inclusion. And I'm doing this because I think that the concept is widely known or at least heard and yet so confusing. So there's a difference between what diversity and inclusion are in general as terms and how these terms actually are translated in the workplace. So diversity as a term means practically any difference between people and can include many dimensions. In the workplace, however, diversity is any dimension that can be used to differentiate groups and people from one another in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, disability, sexual orientation, education, personality skills, experiences, national origins. There are many things there. So in the workplace, diversity is about understanding these differences and these differences that people may or may not have and valuing them. It's about empowering people by respecting and appreciating what makes them different. Interestingly enough, actually, according to a report by Deloitte, it is revealed that diversity is perceived differently by generations. So millennials view workplace diversity as the combining of different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. And they do believe that it is these differences that lead to innovation, while Generation Xers and Boomers view workplace diversity as equal and fair representation, regardless of demographics, and they do not really necessarily consider or link diversity's relationship with business results. Now, moving on to inclusion, a dictionary definition would be the act of including someone or something as part of a group. When it comes, however, to inclusion in the workplace, one needs to understand it as an organizational effort and the practices in which different groups or individuals having different backgrounds are culturally or socially accepted and welcomed, so equally treated. So inclusion in the workplace is a collaborative, supportive, and respectful environment that increases the participation and contribution of all employees. And as a matter of fact, true inclusion removes result. You will not get a tasty cookie, you will not get a good cookie. So diversity and inclusion in general is a company's mission, strategies, and practices to support a diverse workplace and leverage the effects of diversity to achieve a competitive business advantage. So practically, companies that create diverse and inclusive work environments are more adaptable, creative, and become, in the end, magnets to attract top talent, because people see the value of being there and being valued for what they are and being able to unleash their full potential. Now, moving on to why do we at the European Central Bank value diversity? We believe that diversity creates excellence. So more diverse teams mean a wider range of opinions, of course, leading to a better and more robust result. So to us, it is essential that we reach out for the best talent so that we can take the best possible decisions for the good of all citizens of the Euro, which is the people we serve, right? And of course, our diversity is essential in this. We as the European Central Bank aspire to be an organization in which diversity is welcome and appreciated in its all facets for the richness that this actually offers. So enabling diversity is vital to our institution to deliver the best possible outcome for our staff and for Europe. The facets of diversity at the European Central Bank include, but are not limited to, gender, nationality, religion, sexual orientation, ethnic origin, age, cultural background, and disability. The ECB, of course, also supports our colleagues with disabilities to ensure that their work-related needs are accommodated to the best extent possible, and we also provide help to disabled job applicants during their recruitment process. Now, to say it a little bit simpler, I will just use what our president said last year. We should mirror the society we serve. And this is a very bright and colorful society. So what exactly she said was that we want gender balance to be the norm now rather than a revolution to fight for later. So let us not forget that gender is one of the many dimensions of diversity that we must all value. So let's now, before telling you exactly what do we do as ECB for diversity, let me just take a step back and talk to you a little bit about the ECB as an institution. So how does the ECB contribute to Europe? So the ECB was created back in 1998 in Frankfurt am Main, Germany, and its main aim is to maintain price stability and safeguard the value of euro. Together with the national central banks, we're forming the monetary policy decisions such as interest rates, reserve supplies, etc. Since 2014, the ECB acquired a new task, which is the banking supervision, and therefore we created a single supervisory mechanism, or SSM, widely known as SSM, which you can see as a new entity, which is still hiring also a lot of people. I'm just mentioning this because we're going to come back to it later on. So why joining the ECB? Well, in the ECB, there are many fields of expertise. So starting, of course, with economics, which is what everybody would expect, economics and finance, and stretching to way more than that. So to HR, which I can tell from my personal experience, legal, statistics, there's really procurement, there are so many things there. So by joining us, and I'm talking from my own experience now, you will be gaining deep knowledge and hands-on experience in your field, whatever that is, because we are, of course, trying to be following the latest technology trends and adopting best practices. Within the ECB, there are many professional and social networks. I will talk about them with some more details in a while, in which you can not only get to know how many interesting people there, but also by joining them, you will broaden your perspectives and learn from experts who will share their knowledge and expertise with you. And of course, we are very proud to be a diverse work environment with nationalities from all over Europe and with diverse backgrounds as well. Last but not least, by working at the European Central Bank, and this is something that I think it's very rare to find and very important, you can actively contribute to shaping the future of our fellow Europeans. So you will have a voice and the chance to make an impact for Europe. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about what makes the ECB an attractive employer. So, well, very recently, we ranked actually number 14 in Germany's best places to work for in 2019. And you can see that 96% of our employees approve Madame Lagarde, our president, and more than 90 would refer us to a friend, which is fairly good data. And at the same time, you can read a lot of testimonials from our employees. But let me also give you some other facts. So there are a lot of things that we offer as an employer, especially when we're not operating under Corona. But independently from Corona, something that I would really like to focus on during this talk is that we are offering many trainings. So you can see that it starts from simple trainings just for some hard skills that one might need, Excel, Tableau, Stata, and R, to very more targeted trainings that may be informative, that may have to do something with the climate change, which is something that we are very interested in the bank lately, it extends beyond. So it goes to lean management, to different IT trends, and of course, a lot of things around the EU banking regulation. Now, let's go back to diversity, though, because this is where we took it from at the beginning. Why is diversity important to us? So as I said earlier, for us, diversity means diversity of thought. And diversity of thought not only brings creativity and innovation, but also robustness in the decisions we make and the decisions we take for the citizens of Europe. So our diversity and inclusion strategy is anchored in the overall business strategy and is coming from the highest levels. So back in 2013, what we did is that we made an analysis and we found out that the number of women in managerial positions led to us see practically that it wasn't what we were expecting or what we were wishing for. So this led to us practically introducing gender targets and accompanying them with an action plan to break the sort of glass ceiling effect we were observing at the time. Ever since, we undertook a lot of different actions. So I can tell you, for example, that we are having the diversity days at the ECB with speakers from academia and public life who discuss a whole range of different diversity-related topics. We're celebrating the International Women's Day with a key female speaker. We're raising the rainbow flag for the Hot Day. We are supporting the creation of, we're having female talent at ECB Open Days, and we are also supporting the creation of diversity networks. Now, I don't want to overbore you with this, but let me take a little, let me show you a little bit the different diversity networks we're having. You will see that we're having the Diversability Network, the ECB Ethnic and Cultural Group, the ECB Rainbow Network, and that we have a lot of diversity ambassadors within all the business areas. But the two main networks that I would like to talk to you about is the Women in Leadership Network and the Women Organized Women Network, which is a really wow network, as you can see. So the Women in Leadership Network focuses on fostering gender-balanced representation at management level and supporting the ECB's work in achieving its gender diversity targets, also by mentoring female colleagues, promoting training and networking to advance their career, and also inviting role models as speakers. The Women Organized Women Network, so the WOW network, is a community of women from across the ECB who come together to promote diversity of thought by encouraging gender equality at the institution in general. So it was established on the International Women's Day in 2018, and it aims to ignite the personal and professional development of female staff at the ECB and really resolve issues of concern to them. So as you see, once somebody is part of the ECB, there are many things that are happening there. This is a little bit our oven, so to say. Now, moving a little bit also to moving on to what we did or what we do in order to ensure that we have all the different ingredients for our cookie dough, In the talent acquisition these days, we're focusing a lot on our outreach activities to make sure that we're reaching out to female applicants, and not only reaching out, but also building our pipeline, of course. So for example, we're using our outreach activities to target specific groups. We're attending career fairs that are focused on women. We're using headhunting services to target female applicants, and we make sure that we're having diverse selection committees, because it's also very important to us that when somebody is about to join us, is interviewing with us, they should feel that the people that they're having, you know, on the other side of the screen nowadays represent them. So moving on, something else that we did is that, so what we do now is that we are offering much flexibility to facilitate, of course, the work-life balance. And this is something that we offer in general, but especially now during Corona times, in these unprecedented times, where a lot of people have to juggle between their working and family duties. I think this is very, very important. As mentioned earlier, we are having the support of our managers, and of course, this change that we're trying to achieve is also coming from the top. All the managers are very committed, and they are actually also accountable for their respective targets. And going back to the trainings, as I said, we are delivering, and we have delivered several trainings, and we're still doing so, to change the biases, as this is not an easy task, because we all have some biases there. And of course, we also set in place a facilitating program with focus on women. Now, another thing that we do, that also Sophia mentioned earlier, is the so-called Women in Economics Scholarship. I can show you a picture there. Okay, perfect. So this is a scholarship, it's an excellent scholarship, which is offering 5 young female economists 10,000 euro each to finance their studies. So this literally creates no obligation to ladies to return to the ECB or work for us. But it is, for example, offering them a mentorship program with experienced ECB employees who are selected as their mentors based on the interests that the scholars indicate. The Women in Economics Scholarship, by the way, will soon be launched for the academic year 2021-2022. And I strongly recommend you to have a look in our website, because this might be something for you too, regardless of whether you think of the ECB as a prospective employer or not. What is important here is that one needs to be studying something related to economics, of course, because we have made some research and we have seen that unfortunately women are underrepresented in the field of economics, and this is what we're trying to target with this scholarship. Another prerequisite practically is either starting with your master's next year or being now within your master's and having 1 more year to finish your master's, and I think that would be all the limitations, but you can still visit our website and check more facts about the scholarship in there. Now, how did we do, let's say, with all these initiatives that we have taken and that we are currently still taking? In terms of our target, we surpassed the target that we had for 28% in the senior managers. And we did not reach entirely the 35% we had for middle management. So there's certainly things that we can still do. There's plenty of work to do. And this is why we're keeping up with diversity and inclusion. So what is next, so to say? What are we going to do next? So starting 2020, this year, we created a new strategy from 2020 to 2026. And in this one, we introduced 2 different types of targets. This is both intake targets and share targets. Now, the share targets are different per business area and different per salary band. So we have practically taken a look at each and every business area of the European Central Bank and the different steps one might have as an employee. We have seen where we have more or less needs, so to say, because there are some fields in which women are underrepresented indeed, but there are also some in which they're overrepresented, and we are thinking, and we want to, of course, establish the 50-50% target, which is both, getting enough applicants and also accepting enough applicants. And the share target that you see here is just an example of a specific salary band. Now, having all that said, let me talk to you a little bit in detail about two programs that we are offering in the ECB. The first one is the traineeship program that I would like to talk to you. So the traineeship program is a program that, so traineeship programs are programs that are run every year by all the different business areas practically in the bank. It's an excellent opportunity to start your career, and the only requirement, so to say, would be to have finished with your first cycle of studies, meaning with your bachelor's. Once this is done, you're eligible to apply for this. You will, of course, gain practical experience and, of course, also guidance and mentoring from your manager, whomever that might be. And, of course, they are remunerated, so you will get a monthly grant, insurance, and accommodation allowance. And, of course, you're having an annual leave entitlement of 30 or 32 days. What is expected from the people that we're hiring is to contribute to the tasks of your respective division or business area, and mostly to bring your enthusiasm, the fresh ideas that you will have from the university, and to also give us your knowledge, not only learn what already is there, but bring innovation there. And of course, to spread the ECB's mission and values across Europe. Here, I'm also showing a little bit more the facts. So the focus on traineeship is for the people to learn, but also for us to learn. The minimum requirement is the first cycle qualification. The duration is usually you are starting with a contract from 3 to 6 months, usually 6 months, and this can be extended up to a year. And as you see, there is the monthly grant, depending on the traineeship program, plus the accommodation allowance, meaning that also the ECB could offer you a place to live, or if you have something, the allowance. So what happens afterwards? Of course, you will have the experience of the ECB in your CV, which is a very valuable thing in the market. And of course, you can still apply for a junior position at the ECB through the external market. Another opportunity that I would like to talk to you about is the graduate program. Now, we have two graduate programs at the ECB. The one is focused on economics, and the other one is very bright, and it practically includes all of the different profiles that we are having in the bank. So within this program, you will be within the European Central Bank for 2 years, for a minimum of 2 years if you want, and you will have the opportunity to swap or to change after a year between two different departments. So you will gather experience from two different departments, and you will practically have a unique development opportunity to see both tasks and operations across the different business areas. So in order to apply for this program, you need to have finished the second cycle of your studies, meaning your master's degree, and you might already be in your PhD, for example. What is expected from you? Of course, it is to contribute fully to the work of the assigned business areas, to write also a project paper at the end of the second year, and again, to spread the ECB's mission, values across the Europe. Now, again, I have it here in facts. So this is focusing on for you to work in two different business areas and write a project paper. The minimum criteria, as I said, is a postgraduate degree and maybe a PhD. There is again a monthly grant, and there is also the possibility to extend this program to a third year. So make it a total of 3 years. And again, of course, you have the experience of the ECB, and you can apply to be an internal part of the bank. Now, let's move on and almost finish with the recruitment process. So what are we looking for? So when you are applying for the European Central Bank, what we are looking for as recruiters is to see why you are applying for this specific position and why you're applying for this specific position at the European Central Bank. So it is very important for us to understand your motivation. And what we would like to see is how your previous relevant experiences, which might be either professional experiences or your studies, made you passionate, and how these will help you, so to say, into contributing to the European Central Bank. Of course, we're looking for your authentic selves. We want you to be honest and authentic, and the minimum requirement is your English level to be at least C1. And when it comes to the interview, the tips are very easy, I think, is to be prepared, to know exactly what is your motivation, okay, what are your expectations from this position that you applied for, and what are your interests, to see what could be your best allocation, and try to always give us some examples when you are answering our questions. So using the STAR technique is a very good idea. Now, who can apply and what to expect? So if you can always check the minimum requirements of any given opportunity, and you can apply online. You will create your candidate profile, and there may or may not be an application questionnaire. And if you qualify, there might be some online assessment tests, a pre-recorded interview. And once you have this, you will be invited to a WebEx nowadays interview. So it's everything remote. And this interview might also include a presentation, a remote presentation from your side, and a written exercise. Once the decision has been made, then you will also get the outcome and, of course, feedback. Now, how do we do recruitment during COVID-19? So, of course, we don't have on-site interviews. All interviews are conducted through video, WebEx, or phone. You might be having the remote presentation, as I said. We have written exercises that are proctored by our staff. And of course, there is remote onboarding. So newcomers do not really have to come to Frankfurt. Their laptop can be shipped to them, or they can pick it up in Frankfurt if they are there, and then they can go back home. We can practically nowadays work from anywhere. So from anywhere in Europe. And currently, almost all our staff members are working from home. I'm also currently in Greece instead of being in Germany. All the trainings that we're offering are conducted online, and the fitness offer that we normally have in our premises is also translated online. So we do have daily a lot of classes. If you join also the ECB as a trainee, there's also a very, very active Facebook trainee community to let you know about many things that are interesting. So my really biggest recommendation is to visit our website, check out the different possibilities that there might be right now, and maybe also, create this alert so that you get everything that is of interest to you. And just to conclude, I would like to show you one last thing. So a post that we did very recently, with regards to the positions that are about to open in the SSM, in the single supervisory mechanism. You will see there that it says that this year we'll have a lot of exciting career opportunities coming up in banking supervision. As part of our efforts to achieve gender balance at the ECB, we particularly encourage women to apply. So what we do is very evident, and our tries, let's say, and our efforts are out there. We do support it as much as we can, and of course we want the applicants to see this effort and apply, because also research has shown that usually when women apply, they tend to get a job. It's just that unfortunately somehow we, and I include myself, we do not dare so much to apply. So please take my word and just dare to apply. And if you do, you will see results. That will be all from my side. Thank you very much for having me. And of course, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation, and I see that you are very enthusiastic and motivated about the band and in general about gender balance. We have been recording this presentation, and if someone of the participants want to have access to the presentation or to the presentation in PowerPoint, just let us know and we will do it. Yeah, and now questions. Do we have questions to our wonderful speaker?
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. Okay. Then my question is about organizations that you have for women within the European Central Bank. Those two organizations that you mentioned, is it only for individuals and only those who work or who are inside the structure of the bank, or also we from outside the bank can cooperate with this network?
So practically we have two different kinds of targets. The one is only related to the people we are taking from the outside, right? And the other one is from the applications we're getting from our inner world, so to say. But we are we are achieving, or we want to achieve, we're aiming for 50% for both.
Perfect. Yeah, I also like your concept of inclusion. I mean, it's open to everybody. I mean, it's not limited to women. It's open to everybody, because that was the discussion about our network, because it is called Let Her In, but then we add, but don't kick him out. I mean, we are open to everybody, women and men. And now we have a question in the chat. And the question is the ESB leading similar initiatives in other European institutions?
I am not entirely sure I get the question. So we cannot, if you want, collaborate with other institutions, because we are an entity just for ourselves. So I am very aware that many European institutions are having similar initiatives, but you will not find it one-to-one. And of course, our targets are our targets.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you would like to ask? Definitely after the presentation, you will be able to send us an email and we will forward it to Athanasia and she will answer them. But if there is anything else you want to ask now, it is time.
Athanasia, in order, I don't know, to motivate, I don't know, our participants, can you please, I don't know, in a nutshell, just describe your working day, for example? How do you feel?
So one of the things that I was reflecting actually on lately is the fact that we've been remote for over a year now. It's been a year actually. And that I feel really, really blessed for not feeling disconnected at all. So to me, I really feel blessed having excellent colleagues. And I mean, I can only talk about HR now, of course, because this is the people I'm mostly interacting with. But we are having a lot of meetings and we all know that, you know, this is our reality. So we are doing a lot of efforts to always have some connectivity events, some, you know, meetings that are happening maybe 3 times a week, some check-ins, some meetings that are only for non-business, you know, so there's things that we do to not feel disconnected. So that would be the one thing. And the other thing regarding my reality, my everyday life. So it depends really on the projects that I have to deal with every day. So now I'm heavily involved in the recruitment for the single supervisory mechanism. So for the last thing that I showed, we are about to launch a campaign at an analyst level, which requires up to 3 years of experience, of professional experience. So it is a junior position. So if you have some experience, I really recommend you to apply. So what I'm doing there is, for example, now we are preparing how the interviews will look like, what kind of questions we're going to be having, what kind of profiles we're looking for, so that we can advertise this and make people that do not really know the ECB as best as aware as possible of what it is that we do and what it is that they will be required to do. And of course, my daily life includes many interviews with different candidates and, all these meetings that you may be having afterwards to assess them.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Definitely, we will forward the information that you presented today. But if you have anything about opening in Central European Bank or about something that people in our local communities can participate, traineeship program, just let us know and we will send the information to our partners here.
Will do. The one thing that I may want to point right now is that soon enough is the International Women's Day. So it is usually, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but it's usually also the day that we are launching the Women in Economics Scholarship. And I strongly recommend people to go on our website and just create the alert, because there you can specifically say how many years of experience you may be having and what are the fields of interest, and then you will practically get customized offers every time that there's something out.
Perfect. Thank you. We will do it. And we have another question. For the traineeship programs, what kinds of profiles or qualifications do you require? We are talking about the traineeship programs.
So the profile that we would require really depends on the business area that is opening the traineeship program. So when it comes, for example, to a traineeship in HR, we're looking for some degrees in either HR or psychology, business administration, something like that. And when it comes to banking supervision, we are going a little bit more into, economics, finance, audit that you may be having, or some more IT-related profiles, or even some legal profiles. This is also something that we really need in the bank. And in terms of qualifications, you need to have already acquired, let's say, your bachelor's.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you think that we have people who can apply for the traineeship programs of the European Central Bank now?
Certainly.
Yeah, certainly. Okay. If not now, we will send you the information later.
All right.
Magdalena has also a question, and the question is: does a given person work remotely regardless of the position?
So right now we are all working remotely given the circumstances. There's very few positions for which is required for the people to be in the bank. Really, we are more than 3,000 people in the bank in total, and I'm pretty sure that there's no more than 100 people right now in our building. So it must be vital for the position to operate from within the building to be there. Otherwise, we're not required to be there, unless, of course, some people want to be in the bank. And that's why, and in order to do that, actually, we're also having very strict limits about how many people are allowed to be in the building, because we all know that we need to keep safe, of course. We are right now in the discussions with the executive board, of course, to decide how will the next day look like. So we don't know yet, but we are looking into some hybrid models.
Thank you. One more question from Microcosmos, also member of Let Herein. What was your biggest challenge at the European Central Bank so far? Then tell us about challenges and
Okay, that's a good question. I think that a big challenge at the time was joining the ECB, because the traineeships usually include many different positions, and you have to indicate your preference. And at the time, I think it was also not clear to me exactly what I wanted to do. So the first challenge was to identify for myself what was the best, and once I got there, also to get to know this new field, because it was something new for me, and I learned a lot from this experience. And another, I wouldn't call it challenge in terms of it was something wrong with it, but I think it was something very creative, and something that really has helped me a lot, which was interacting with all those people and all these different nationalities, so really embracing diversity and inclusion practically. I think that this is something that we do very, very well in the bank, and it's really something that it's evident every time, so we see it every day. So I don't know if I shall call this a challenge, but it's certainly something that I am happy I'm dealing with every day.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, very, very interesting answer to finish the presentation, because challenges, I mean, a challenge to start something, but also a challenge to continue it, to be online with it. And actually, I think that all of these challenges, I mean, we have in our life. Thank you very much to be with us today. Dear all those who participated today also in this session, if you have more questions, if you want to know more about the programs of the bank, just send us an email. And remember that our email is info.letheurinput.org/EU, and we'll forward the questions, the emails to Anastasia. If you want to know more about our organization, we are here. We can talk via emails, and we will provide you with all necessary information. Anastasia, you see a lot of thanks from the participants. I think it was very interesting presentation and very useful. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good week. And let's start working together